Hey everyone, it's Ryder from Skip. It's Monday, September 13th. Important video today, not only on EIDL news, the big changes from EIDL 2.0 last week, and some of the questions many of you still have, but also big news yesterday on the $3.5 trillion budget reconciliation. Lawmakers worked over the weekend. Manchin weighed in. We have some more clarity on what the timeline might be for an agreement and what that agreement might be. So the two main items today, EIDL news and $3.5 trillion package. This is a huge package that will touch the lives of everyone in the U.S. if it passes, and not only if it passes, but in what form. How much money will be left if it does get through. It's a great update today. I hope you watch until the end. And at the end, I'll talk about what else I'll be covering this week. So if you want to get an alert when we post a new video, hit subscribe, turn on the alerts. And if you support our daily efforts, give this video a thumbs up. It really helps. Let me start with the quick SBA update. Last week, tons of big news related to the changes to the EIDL program, the rule changes where you can use EIDL loans to pay off business debt. There's increased eligibility for EIDL loans. And of course, there is the new limit from $500,000 to $2 million if you qualify. For all of you still waiting, which is many of you, there's an exclusivity period still in place until the beginning of October. So loan officers who are still reviewing your application or your reconsideration are still focused on all of you who've requested less than $500,000. Then they will switch to the higher loan amounts in October, around October 9th. Now, many of you had questions on the new forms. In videos later this week, I'll be covering the ODA P022, the personal liability form, the business liability form, and the other forms as well. So stay tuned for that. Also, thousands of you have added your name to our waiting list. If you want one-on-one support to get help with an EIDL loan, again, you can use these for so many things now. Go to EIDL.me, that's EIDL.me, only if you think you could benefit from one-on-one help. Drop your name on the waiting list. But what I'm most excited about is this right here that came out of the press release last week. There's still over $150 billion in COVID idle funds. This is amazing. Okay, for so many of you, we know it's taken way longer than you expected. It's taken months, and we've written letters. We've done everything we could. We've continued to advocate for you while also share the SBA perspective. But the good news is there's a lot of funding here. So I'll leave you with three things on the EIDL program today. Number one, if you are applying for reconsideration or a loan increase, don't rush things. Take the time to understand what you're doing. There's plenty of money left. The SBA is getting through things. There's still issues with the portal. There's still issues with getting the tax transcripts from the IRS. But don't rush things because there's plenty of funding here. Number two, the SBA is improving things. I look at every single data report that the SBA releases or the Treasury releases, and I do see improvements. I've read their policy documents. They're making improvements, okay? I know if you're still waiting, that doesn't matter because your case is your case, and if they're having a bug related to your portal or your application, it's affecting you and your business and your family, but they are improving, and I continue to be optimistic. And the third thing, I say this a lot too, diversify your options. Don't put all your eggs in the SBA basket. We have links to partners who we recommend, we love, and we are continuing to vet private lenders, other public funding opportunities that may be relevant for you. I'll leave some of those links in the description. A lot of it comes down to interest rates and financing and understanding if your business is struggling right now, you want to get over that hump. What do you need to get over that hump? How much money do you need? And there is a life beyond EIDL, specifically this $3.5 trillion budget bill. If there's $150 billion in the EIDL pot, 20x that, it's actually around 23x. But let's say 20 times that is this $3.5 trillion budget bill. So that's why this budget bill is so important. It affects education. It affects childcare. No matter what your socioeconomic background is, it affects you. Higher taxes for some, lower taxes for others, free community college, free pre-K. But yesterday, Sunday, Senator Joe Manchin told CNN State of the Union he would not vote for the $3.5 trillion budget bill, adding that, quote, "there's no way to meet the September 27th deadline." Meanwhile, Nancy Pelosi has said they're going to have a draft by September 15th. That's a couple days away. She's pushing for things. And Democrats spent a lot of the weekend and Sunday continuing to hash out details. Here's a quote from the Washington Post. A powerful panel of House Democrats on Sunday circulated a draft plan that would raise $2.9 trillion in new taxes and revenue, predominantly targeted towards wealthy Americans, corporations, and investors, as party lawmakers continue to spar in public over the size and scope of their new tax and spending package. One of the things it would call for is a new corporate tax rate of 26.5% for large profitable businesses, up from the current rate of 21%. There were a few surprises in this draft bill, including a smaller than expected increase on the capital gains rate paid by investors. So any of you investing who've had to pay capital gains, in this proposal, that capital gains rate would only go up to 25% from 20%. Originally it was thought that that tax rate may actually double. So between the income tax increases, the corporate tax increases, and the capital gains tax increases, here's a quote: Democrats contended the total slate of proposed tax increases can help raise as much as $2.9 trillion over 10 years, basically offsetting the cost of the budget reconciliation. So what's the holdup here? His name is Joe Manchin. He is the primary Democrat who basically has a lot of negotiating power here. He can defect, and if he defects, basically it will not pass the Senate. So here's what he says. Manchin called on Democrats to whittle down the amount, perhaps by more than half, while reeling in broad swaths of the still forming proposal. Now, one of Manchin's main points is the speed, trying to get this through quickly. He basically wants to stall as much as possible. Here's a quote from him: I'm just saying that we should be looking at everything, and we're not. We don't have the need to rush into this and get it done within 1 week because there's some deadline we're meeting or someone's going to fall through the cracks. So he is urging patience, looking at things, but of course a lot of that is to stall and negotiate. He knows what position he is in. Like I said, Pelosi wants to have a draft by September 15th, and she set a September 27th deadline for it to pass. Manchin is very skeptical of that. He says, quote, there's no way lawmakers could get it done by then. And now there's a little fight between Manchin and Bernie Sanders. Sanders said this in response to what Joe Manchin said on CNN. Sanders said, no, it's absolutely not acceptable to me. I don't think it's acceptable to the president, to the American people, or the overwhelming majority of the Democratic caucus. Sanders touted some of the broader aims of the package, aimed to lower prescription drug prices, expand Medicare benefits, and combat challenges, including climate change. He said that many Democrats have already compromised in setting a $3.5 trillion ceiling after Sanders and his allies initially sought close to $6 trillion. Can you imagine? So, of course, they're trying to price anchor and say, look, we already came down by almost half from $6 trillion, so $3.5 trillion is a deal. I know many of you have strong opinions on this budget resolution, the things you like, the things you don't like, especially around the cost. Would love to hear in the comments what you think. As this develops over the next few weeks, I'll keep you posted on it. And if and when this gets passed, what makes it into the final bill? Because without a doubt, if this passes in some way, shape, or form, it will affect you, your family, and friends. And of course, so will the EIDL loans. I hope many more of you get approved this week, whether it's for the loans or the grants. And last call, if you want one-on-one help to talk through EIDL funding or other funding, go to EIDL.me. Add your name to the waiting list. We are diligently going through that list every single day as we open up new spots. Most importantly, stay well, stay healthy, and I'll see you tomorrow.